Have you ever stopped and thought about the people in your life? The relationships you cherish, the bonds that uplift you, and, of course, those who might be unintentionally draining you? As we get older, the value of peace, tranquility, and emotional balance becomes more evident than ever before. In fact, for those of us over 65, it becomes imperative to carefully evaluate who we allow into our lives. But here's the truth that many don't tell you. Some of the people we love the most, even family members, may not always be what's best for us. Imagine for a moment. You've spent your life nurturing, supporting, and caring for others. You've faced challenges, celebrated triumphs, and gathered years of wisdom. Now, it's time to ask yourself, who truly deserves a place in your golden years? More importantly, who needs to go? Because in this stage of life, choosing the right people to be around can mean the difference between enjoying your well-deserved peace or enduring unnecessary stress. This video is about recognizing the 5 types of people you absolutely must avoid in your later years, even if they're family. You see, protecting your peace is not selfish, it's an essential part of living a healthy and happy life, especially as we age. It's about surrounding yourself with those who genuinely uplift you, and stepping away from the ones who bring nothing but negativity. So, what are the 5 types of people we need to stay clear of? Well, in just a moment, I'm going to break them down, and trust me, knowing who they are could very well change the way you approach your relationships moving forward. But before we dive in, I'd love for you to take a second and hit that like button if you're ready to start protecting your emotional health. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on future content that can help you live your best life in your 70s and beyond. Now, let's get into it. The first type of person you must avoid in your later years is the manipulator. They're the ones who, at first glance, seem like they need your help. They play on your compassion, and in the beginning, you might feel good about helping them. But as time goes on, their demands increase, and before you know it, you're emotionally drained, feeling like your kindness has become a burden rather than a blessing. It's easy to fall into this trap, especially if you've spent your life being the caregiver, the go-to person for support. But here's the thing. Saying no to a manipulator is not cruel, it's self-preservation. And I'll show you exactly how you can set healthy boundaries and protect your peace without guilt. But it doesn't stop there. You also need to be on the lookout for the self-absorbed narcissist. These individuals are often charming, but their inability to listen, empathize, or offer anything meaningful in return for your time can leave you feeling invisible and undervalued. Life at this stage should be about sharing your wisdom, telling your stories, and feeling heard, not about constantly being overshadowed by someone who only cares about their own narrative. I'll walk you through how to spot a narcissist and, more importantly, how to deal with them effectively. Now, we all have a critic in our lives, right? Someone who can't seem to resist pointing out flaws or offering unsolicited advice. In your 70s and beyond, the last thing you need is a constant reminder of your so-called shortcomings. The truth is, critics often project their own insecurities onto others, and their negativity can eat away at your self-esteem. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to accept this. With the right tools, you can filter out their negativity and take back control of your self-worth. I'll share practical steps on how to handle critics and set firm boundaries so they don't steal your joy. And then we have the irresponsible individuals. These are the ones who, despite being capable, constantly look to you for help, whether it's emotional, financial, or otherwise. You've probably already experienced how exhausting it can be to bear the weight of someone else's poor decisions. Letting go of the need to constantly rescue them is an act of love, not just for you, but for them as well. I'll guide you through how to gracefully say no when it's time to stop being the caretaker and allow others to take responsibility for their own lives. Finally, we have the ungrateful. There's nothing quite as painful as giving and not receiving any acknowledgement or appreciation in return. It's important to understand that their ingratitude is not a reflection of you. It speaks more to their own lack of awareness. The key is learning to recognize when your kindness is being taken for granted and how to protect yourself from being emotionally depleted by it. Before we dive into these 5 types, I want you to take a moment and think about your own relationships. Which one of these people have you encountered in your life? Are there any toxic patterns that you've noticed? If you're ready to regain control of your emotional well-being and ensure your golden years are truly filled with peace and happiness, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share your thoughts on the types of people you plan to avoid. Subscribe to this channel so you can continue to learn and grow through every stage of life. 1. The manipulator. As we age, the value of emotional peace becomes immeasurable. At this stage of life, we no longer have the luxury to waste time on relationships that drain us. One of the most dangerous types of people to have in your life even if they are family, is the manipulator. These individuals have a knack for hiding their true intentions behind a veil of apparent need or affection, and over time, their presence can erode your sense of peace and emotional well-being. Initially, manipulators may appear harmless. Perhaps they ask for a favor. Maybe it's just one more ride, a quick errand, or a minor favor that seems easy to give. At first, you might think, it's only a small thing. It won't hurt to help them out. After all, you've spent your life being the reliable, caring person. But slowly, the requests begin to pile up. What started as simple favors starts to feel more like obligations. And before you know it, these small favors evolve into a pattern of exploitation. The manipulator uses subtle tactics, such as guilt-tripping or framing their demands as emergencies. When you hesitate to help, they'll often use phrases like, "I don't know what I would do without you," or, "If you really cared, you'd help me." These comments, though seemingly innocent, are designed to create an emotional obligation, making it incredibly hard for you to say no without feeling guilty or selfish. This is the hallmark of a manipulator. They make you feel responsible for their needs, often disguising their selfishness as a form of care or dependence. They prey on your kindness, knowing you want to help, but as they continue to exploit you, they drain your energy and leave you feeling emotionally exhausted. Imagine this. You're finally enjoying a quiet afternoon, taking some time to reflect on your life, sipping your coffee. And then, the phone rings. It's that same family member or friend, asking for yet another favor, something small, like running an errand they could do themselves or just needing to vent. At first, you comply, thinking it's no big deal. But as this becomes a recurring pattern, you begin to notice that they only seem to call when they need something. And the cycle continues. Recognizing this dynamic is essential. You must be able to see when someone is exploiting your good nature for their benefit. Manipulators thrive on your hesitation to confront them. They use your desire to maintain harmony and avoid conflict against you. But here's the key. Saying no is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of self-preservation. Your time, energy, and emotional well-being are just as important as theirs. So, how do you set boundaries with a manipulator? The first step is recognizing the pattern. If someone frequently asks for favors but rarely offers anything in return, it's time to take a step back. Start by gently but firmly setting limits. You don't have to justify your decisions or explain why you can't help. A simple, "I'm sorry, I'm unable to help this time," is enough. It's important to remember that you don't owe them an explanation. Your boundaries are valid, and they are there to protect your peace. In fact, it's often helpful to reflect on the nature of the relationship. Ask yourself, does this person add value to my life, or do they take more than they give? True relationships are built on mutual respect and care, not on obligation or guilt. If a relationship consistently leaves you feeling drained, it's time to reevaluate whether this person deserves a place in your life. Letting go of the fear of disappointing others is liberating. It's not easy, especially if the manipulator is someone close to you. But your kindness is a gift, not a resource to be exploited. By protecting your peace and setting clear boundaries, you create space for relationships that are balanced and respectful. In your golden years, it's crucial to prioritize your own well-being. If you've been the go-to person for years, it's okay to step back and reclaim your time. Saying no to a manipulator isn't just about standing up for yourself. It's about saying yes to your freedom and your happiness. This is your time to live fully, authentically, and without unnecessary burdens. 2. The self-absorbed narcissist. As we grow older, we become more selective about the people we allow into our lives. After all, the goal is to cherish the golden years by surrounding ourselves with people who genuinely add value, respect our time, and appreciate us for who we are. One of the most emotionally draining types of people to have around, even if they're family, is the self-absorbed narcissist. These individuals are so consumed by their own needs, desires, and achievements that they fail to see the needs of those around them. At first glance, narcissists can seem charming, even magnetic. They often appear as though they are full of life, always the center of attention and eager to share their achievements. They may even shower you with compliments, making you feel special in the beginning. However, over time, you begin to notice a pattern. These interactions are always about them. A narcissist's primary focus is themselves. Conversations with them tend to revolve around their stories, their opinions, and their accomplishments, leaving little to no room for you. Imagine sitting with a family member or friend, eager to share an experience that brought you joy or an important life lesson. But instead of listening or showing interest, they immediately shift the focus to their own stories, often interrupting or dismissing your experiences. This can be incredibly isolating, leaving you feeling invisible and undervalued. This behavior, though often subtle, can be exhausting. As we age, we deserve relationships where we feel heard, valued, and respected, especially after a lifetime of sharing our wisdom and experiences. But narcissists tend to dominate conversations, never allowing others to truly be seen. Their lack of empathy for others is not always intentional. They might not even realize the impact of their behavior. However, this constant self-centeredness can have a negative effect on your emotional well-being. Narcissists can be emotionally draining because they demand constant attention and validation. If you do not feed their need for praise or admiration, they may become upset or dismissive. Their ego is fragile, and they need constant affirmation to feel important. Unfortunately, when you're on the receiving end of this behavior, you can end up feeling like a mere spectator in your own life. But here's the crucial point. You are not obligated to cater to their needs. This stage of life is about reclaiming your energy and prioritizing the relationships that truly uplift you. If you feel that your interactions with a narcissist leave you emotionally drained and diminish your self-worth, it's time to set some healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries with a narcissist can be challenging because they often use charm and manipulation to draw people in. However, it's essential to recognize that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. A narcissist's inability to see or value others should not diminish the value of your own experiences and emotions. It's not your responsibility to make them feel good about themselves. One way to start managing these relationships is by gently redirecting the conversation back to you. If they try to dominate the discussion, calmly say, "I'd like to finish what I was saying." If they dismiss your feelings or experiences, assertively express your perspective. For example, you might say, "I hear what you're saying, but this moment is important to me, and I'd like to share it with you." This subtle redirection helps reaffirm your right to be heard while maintaining a respectful tone. It's also important to remind yourself that their behavior does not define you. The narcissist's lack of empathy or attention to your needs isn't your fault. It's a reflection of their own limitations, not your value as a person. By recognizing this, you can begin to detach emotionally from their need for constant validation. Over time, you'll realize that your sense of self-worth doesn't rely on their approval or attention. Another strategy for dealing with narcissists is to surround yourself with people who truly value you. Invest your time and energy into relationships where mutual respect and care are at the forefront. These are the people who listen when you speak, who show empathy and kindness, and who genuinely appreciate your presence in their lives. Remember, your emotional well-being and happiness are not negotiable. You have the right to set boundaries and remove people from your life who only take from you without giving anything in return. In your later years, it's especially important to surround yourself with individuals who make you feel seen, heard, and valued. Letting go of the need to please a narcissist is a powerful act of self-love. By doing so, you open the door to healthier, more fulfilling relationships where you can thrive and experience the joy of connection. 3. The critic. In your later years, the most valuable treasure is the freedom to live authentically, embracing who you are and what you have accomplished. Yet, the presence of critics can rob you of this freedom, sowing seeds of doubt and negativity in your life. Critics, who are often well-meaning but constantly pointing out flaws, can severely impact your emotional health and sense of self-worth, especially when you've spent a lifetime working hard, overcoming challenges, and celebrating achievements. Critics come in many forms: family members, friends, or even neighbors who have a knack for offering unsolicited feedback. They often claim their comments are constructive or come from a place of concern, but the truth is, their words can wound deeply, eroding your confidence and leaving you feeling inadequate. It's important to recognize that their criticisms rarely have anything to do with you, but rather reflect their own insecurities or frustrations. Imagine this. You've spent years working on a project or pursuing a passion, and you're finally proud of what you've achieved. But when you share it with someone, they immediately focus on what's wrong with it or what you should have done differently. Maybe they critique your appearance, your choices, or even your hobbies. Over time, these constant comments can weigh heavily on you. leaving you feeling like you're never good enough. This is the effect of the critic. However, it's essential to understand that critics are not the authority on your happiness. Their negative feedback does not define you. Instead, it reflects their need to feel superior or their inability to confront their own imperfections. As someone who has navigated life's challenges and come out the other side wiser, you have the power to redefine how you respond to their comments. So, how can you deal with critics, especially in your later years? The first step is filtering their words. Not every criticism deserves your attention or energy. Ask yourself, is this feedback constructive, or is it merely a projection of their frustrations? If it's the latter, it's time to let it go. Your self-worth doesn't hinge on the opinions of others, especially those who do not respect you or understand your journey. One of the most empowering things you can do when dealing with a critic is to set a boundary. If someone is constantly criticizing you, calmly assert yourself by saying, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm happy with the way I'm living my life." This simple statement helps establish that you are in control of your choices and that their opinion is just that, an opinion, not a fact. You don't have to justify your choices to anyone. You can also redirect the conversation. Critics often thrive on negativity, so shifting the focus to something positive can neutralize their impact. For example, if someone criticizes a decision you made, you might counter with, "That's one perspective, but I'm really proud of what I've accomplished." By focusing on your strengths, you not only remind the critic of your worth, but also reinforce it to yourself. Surrounding yourself with people who celebrate you rather than criticize is another essential strategy. As we age, we often realize the importance of having relationships that uplift us and bring positivity into our lives. Seek out those who genuinely listen, offer constructive feedback, and affirm your value. These are the relationships that will nourish your spirit and help you thrive, especially as you move into your later years. Self-compassion is key when dealing with critics. Instead of internalizing their negativity, practice self-love and affirmation. Celebrate your accomplishments and remind yourself that you've earned the right to live authentically. Your life is a testament to your resilience, and no critic can take that away from you. Remember, critics have no power over you unless you allow it. Their words may sting in the moment, but they do not define your journey. Your worth is not measured by their approval or disapproval. When you begin to filter out negative voices and surround yourself with those who truly see you, you create an environment where your golden years can truly shine with joy, fulfillment, and authenticity. 4. The irresponsible. In the later stages of life, the freedom to focus on your own well-being becomes more precious than ever. You've worked hard throughout your life, raised families, built careers, and weathered countless challenges. Now, it's time to relax, enjoy your peace, and embrace the relationships that bring you joy. The last thing you need in your golden years are people who continuously burden you with their irresponsibility. These individuals, whether family members, friends, or acquaintances, can quickly drain your energy and disrupt the tranquility you've earned. The irresponsible person is someone who consistently fails to take accountability for their actions. They make poor decisions, whether financial, personal, or emotional, and repeatedly expect you to pick up the pieces for them. They often make excuses, point fingers, or avoid confronting the consequences of their behavior, knowing that you will step in and help them out. While it's natural to want to help those we love, there's a fine line between supporting someone and enabling them. And as you age, it's crucial to recognize when that line has been crossed. Imagine this. A family member or friend repeatedly finds themselves in difficult situations, whether it's a financial crisis, an emotional meltdown, or an unresolved personal conflict. Each time they face a challenge, they turn to you for help, expecting you to rescue them. They promise that this time will be different, that they'll change, but over time, their behavior doesn't improve. The pattern repeats itself, and you're left feeling emotionally drained, financially stretched, and unsure whether your support is truly helping them or simply enabling their bad habits. Helping someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own actions doesn't just drain you emotionally. It prevents them from learning and growing. Accountability is a vital life skill, one that can only be developed when a person faces the natural consequences of their choices. Constantly stepping in to rescue them only prolongs their inability to take charge of their own life. At this stage of life, You've earned the right to prioritize your own happiness and well-being. You are not obligated to bear the burdens of others' poor choices. While compassion and kindness are virtues, they must be balanced with self-respect and discernment. Setting boundaries with an irresponsible person is not an act of cruelty. It's an act of love, both for yourself and for them. So, how do you deal with the irresponsible people in your life? The first step is recognizing your limits. You must accept that you are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems, especially when they refuse to take responsibility themselves. For example, if someone continually asks for financial assistance or emotional support without making any effort to change their behavior, it's time to set a boundary. A response such as, "I'm sorry, but I'm not in a position to help this time," is sufficient. You don't owe them an explanation or justification. It's important to remember that saying no is not an act of selfishness. It is a necessary step in preserving your emotional health and ensuring that you are not enabling their irresponsible behavior. Instead of rescuing them every time they're in trouble, encourage them to find their own solutions. Offer guidance, if necessary, but refrain from taking on their burdens as your own. Resisting the urge to feel guilty is crucial. Irresponsible people often use guilt as a tactic to manipulate you into helping them. They may imply that you don't care about them if you refuse to intervene, but the truth is, you can care about someone without rescuing them. Offering emotional support or advice is one thing, but taking on the responsibility for their actions is quite another. Finally, consider shifting your focus. Spend your time and energy on people who take responsibility for their lives, who respect your boundaries, and who genuinely appreciate the support you offer. Surround yourself with individuals who contribute positively to your life, not those who drain you with their constant need for rescue. As you navigate your later years, remember that your energy and time are precious resources. Let go of the need to fix everyone around you. By doing so, you not only protect your peace, but also allow the irresponsible people in your life the opportunity to step up and take responsibility for themselves. This is a gift you give to both yourself and them, creating a healthier dynamic in your relationships and allowing you to enjoy your golden years to the fullest. 5. The ungrateful. As we age, one of the greatest joys in life is giving. After decades of hard work, raising families, and contributing to the well-being of others, there's a deep satisfaction in knowing that our actions, whether it's our time, wisdom, or love, have made someone's life better. However, there is a painful sting when this kindness goes unnoticed, or worse, is met with ingratitude. The ungrateful person is often the most difficult to deal with, particularly in our later years, when we've earned the right to feel valued and appreciated for everything we've done. The ungrateful individual might seem harmless at first. They may smile and thank you when you offer help, but over time, you begin to realize that your efforts are not truly appreciated. Imagine spending hours preparing a special meal for a holiday or offering a significant amount of your time to help a friend or family member through a difficult situation. Then, instead of gratitude, you're met with complaints about the food, or worse, an accusation that it wasn't as good as it used to be. The ungrateful person often dismisses your efforts, taking your time and energy for granted, as if your acts of kindness are merely expected. The most difficult part of dealing with an ungrateful person is that their behavior leaves you feeling devalued. You've given your best, only to be met with indifference or even criticism. This lack of appreciation can be incredibly hurtful, especially when you've poured your heart into the relationship or the task at hand. But here's an important truth. Their ingratitude is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their own inability to recognize the value of what you bring into their life. At this stage of life, you have likely learned that not everyone is capable of appreciating the love and kindness you offer. It's not your fault that they are ungrateful, and their lack of recognition shouldn't diminish the value of your actions. But here's the thing. You deserve better. You've spent your life giving to others, and now it's time to surround yourself with people who see you, value you, and show gratitude for the love you provide. So, how do you handle the ungrateful in your life? The first step is acknowledging your feelings. It's okay to feel hurt when someone fails to recognize your efforts. These feelings are valid and deserve to be addressed. However, it's important not to dwell on them or internalize them as a reflection of your worth. You are worthy of respect and appreciation, no matter what others may fail to show. Setting boundaries with the ungrateful is essential. You don't have to continue pouring your time and energy into relationships that take from you without giving anything back. If someone consistently fails to appreciate your efforts, it's time to scale back. You can still be kind and supportive, but you are under no obligation to give more than what is healthy for you. For example, if a family member consistently ignores your help or takes you for granted, it's okay to reduce the level of assistance you provide. A gentle response might be, "I've done my best, but I can't continue doing this if I don't feel appreciated." Another strategy is to focus on the people who do appreciate you. Spend time with those who offer gratitude, who value your contributions, and who show you the respect you deserve. These are the relationships that will nourish your spirit and fill your heart with the joy of giving. Self-care and self-compassion are crucial in these situations. Remind yourself that you are not obligated to fix the ingratitude of others. Your kindness is a gift, and if it's not received with gratitude, that's not a reflection of your generosity but of their inability to appreciate it. By prioritizing your own happiness and emotional health, you will find that you can give freely, without the expectation of gratitude, and still feel at peace. Lastly, remember that genuine generosity comes from the heart. You didn't give in order to be recognized. You gave because it's who you are. But when you continue to give to those who don't acknowledge your effort, it may be time to reevaluate the relationship. Focus on relationships where mutual respect, appreciation, and love are shared. These connections will bring you the joy and fulfillment you deserve in your golden years. As we reflect on the 5 types of people we should avoid in our golden years, it's important to remember that our time is precious. Every moment you spend with someone who doesn't appreciate you, doesn't respect your boundaries, or drains your energy is time you could have spent building deeper, more meaningful relationships. Life after 65 is about focusing on what truly brings you joy, fulfillment, and peace of mind. You've worked hard, you've gained wisdom, and now it's your time to live with intention. Set the boundaries that will protect your emotional health and surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who take more than they give. Your golden years are for you, and it's never too late to let go of toxic relationships and embrace the ones that truly nourish your spirit. If this video resonated with you, I want to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below and share your thoughts on how you've navigated toxic relationships or set boundaries in your own life. What strategies have helped you? I'd love to know what works for you, and together, we can create a community of support and understanding for each other. If you found this content valuable, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video that can help you live your best life. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you're always up to date with the latest tips and advice for living a healthier, more peaceful life in your later years. Remember, your happiness, your peace, and your health are your responsibility. Take charge of them today. You deserve to live authentically, surrounded by people who truly appreciate you. Take a moment to protect your peace, set those boundaries, and know that your time is too valuable to waste on relationships that don't serve your highest good. Thank you for watching, and remember, you've earned this. Live your life on your own terms.